going on, everybody, and welcome back to Frankie's Aquatics right here on the wonderful platform that is YouTube. I'll start each video out each week by asking how you guys are. I hope you've got a smashing week ahead of you, and I hope you're in a good place and you're surviving whatever the world is throwing at us this week. There's always something pretty crazy going on, but I hope we're all punching our way through it and making sense of the world as we go. Dare I say, the heat has finally showing signs of subsidence, and we're starting to get some guzzly wind out there. That makes no sense, but I've said it now, so I'm going to stick with it. But it's starting to get quite windy out there. The wind is a-blowing, the trees be showing, and the birdies be not singing anymore. This week's video, I'm going to look at most commonly asked questions over on the Googles. So when you go to Google and you punch in Axolotls or Axolotls, it comes out with already premeditated questions. They're the ones that pop up that people obviously ask the most when they go to Google. So I thought, why not pull out a few of my favourites, quite randomly but spontaneously pull out a few of my favourites and answer them on this week's video. So without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's video, which is Axolotl Google questions finally answered. Off we go, this way, toodly-doo. I just swallowed a fly. I hope that showed up. If it shows up, I'm leaving it in. I did the let's go toodly-doo, and just about this point it just went straight into me chops. Oh, you damn dirty fly. You damn dirty fly. Axolotls are actually not blind. They don't have the best vision, but they're not completely blind. They have very, very poor vision, and they rely very heavily on their sense of smell. So when you see Axolotl struggling to find his food and you're like, are you blind? He's not got the best vision. That's the problem. It's not the fact that he's blind. He can see shapes and colours very, very well. Albino types tend to be a lot more delicate in regards to light as well. So light sensitivity does trigger them. But no, they're not completely blind. They just have a very, very poor lack of vision. And their noses become almost their second pair of eyes. They rely very heavily on their sense of smell, and they have an incredible sense of smell as well. Incredible sense of smell. So when you pop their little feeding pellets in, the chances are they'll sniff them out in no time. So they're very, very clever. So no, not completely blind. They just haven't got the best eyes. Are axolotls legal in the UK? They absolutely are. There's no restrictions as far as I'm aware, and I do check in quite frequently with these sort of things, but there are absolutely no restrictions within the UK to owning an axolotl. I do believe in America there are various states over there that they are actually illegal to own over there. So if you are over in the States, make sure you follow your rules and check in with your laws and restrictions over in whichever country you might be living in and whichever state you might be residing in. Just make sure you're not breaking any rules, because they'll give you a slap. They'll give you a slap, and they'll give you a hefty fine as well. That's my understanding anyway. You don't want any of that, so make sure that you're not breaking any rules by owning your axolotl. Are axolotls reptiles? Axolotls are not considered reptiles. They are indeed an amphibian, so they're classed as an exotic pet. This fly is driving me bonkers. I swear it. I'm gonna zap you when I find you. I will find you, and I will zap you. Axolotls are not classed as a reptile. They are classed as an exotic pet, but they do fall under the umbrella of the amphibian. So they're more closely related to my friend Kermit the Frog than they would be, let's say, I don't know, a snake or a lizard. They might resemble certain similarities of a reptile, but they are indeed an amphibian. Are axolotls high maintenance? Yes, I guess you could say they were. You do have to be very much on the ball. They're not like a fish that you can kind of plump into a tank. Plump. Is that even a word? Plump. You can't just plump them into a tank and kind of leave them be. You do have to be extra vigilant with things like temperature, with your water parameters, your cycle. Water changes, the food that you feed, you have to be vigilant on the poop that they produce and any waste that they might produce in regards to any uneaten food. You can't just simply leave them in there for the filter to kind of pick up, because it will sour the water really, really quickly. So are they high maintenance? I would say yeah. You have to be quite dedicated to what you're doing. So that's why I kind of get a little bit like this when people say that they're easy to look after. They're not exactly difficult to look after. You've just got to keep with it. You can't cut corners. There's no shortcuts as such. So just to clarify, you have to be extra vigilant with the water tank, with the water parameters. You have to be extra vigilant with the temperatures, and you obviously have to think about how you obviously maintain what they feed on. So earthworms, you need to make sure you can get a steady supply of earthworms. Obviously that comes as an expense, and you have to make sure you can source them fairly local, if not online. So wherever you might live, make sure you do the old homework before you go out there and purchase your axolotl. So many people come to me like, what do I do? I've got an axolotl and I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It was kind of bought for me and I just don't know what I'm doing. And these things do happen because unfortunately in the pet trade it happens more frequently than people would care to admit. People go in with the best of intentions but with hardly any knowledge on any particular animal they might be buying, and they just purchase it because it's cute and fluffy. And then they get home with him or her and they realise, oh my goodness, this little monkey can live for nearly 10 to 15 years and I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm completely honest. And it becomes more hassle than it's probably worth to some people. So are axolotls high maintenance? I'd have to say yes, they actually are high maintenance. Just make sure you do plenty of homework before you bring your little home. Yes. Be sensible, people, be sensible. Are they easy to care for? I guess you could label them fairly straightforward. I don't think I'd use the term easy. I don't think anything's... I mean, people say when you ride a bike, oh, it's easy, you just get on it and you just balance and you pedal and then there you go. You never need to learn it again. That's great if you can ride a bike, but if you can't ride a bike, obviously there's a learning curve where it is hard work and it is a lot of time and it's not that easy, because you watch someone ride a bike when you're a kid and you watch them just take off in a nice straight line. You think, how on earth are they doing that? That's magic. That's David Blaine's magic. There is. I can't work it out. So there is definitely there's definitely things to consider. It's easy as long as you do it right, when you have to be very consistent, and you do have to take things into consideration in regards to like food sourcing. You have to take into consideration these things are very long lived. They can outlive most amphibians, to be quite honest, and they're a lot of work in their own respect, but it isn't exactly complicated when you get it right. I hope that probably has confused you even more, haven't I? Let's be honest. I'll leave it as it is. Are they complicated? Make your own mind up. I don't really know, to be honest with you. That's pretty much it for this week's video. A lot of people were upset last week because last week's video was epically short. Quite possibly the shortest video I've ever done. It wasn't intended to be. I do try and get things out a bit quicker, because I look back on my old uploads and they were good 20-minute long, 25-minute long, and I can't picture anybody sat there for 25 minutes listening to me. So people were like, it's a very short video, are you going to do a second video this week to make up for it? I'm like, no, I'm not, it's a lot of work, I can't. So I apologise if it felt that it was a little bit short and sweet, but it was short and to the point. Someone in the comment section said that, short but to the point, and I was like, yes, I like that. I like that a lot. So thank you all for stopping by and checking out this week's video. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that like button. It just lets me know that you enjoy the content that I'm producing. Also hit the subscribe button, because that will keep you in the loop when I upload, and also ding that notification bell. That will do something. Don't quite know what that does, but it does something apparently. And until next time, ta-ta for now. Woohoo! I would just like to give a fantastically warm welcome shout out to my Frankie Lottles, my supporters over on Patreon. If you want to get yourself involved, you will find all the relevant information in the links directly below. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting a fly. Oh, I got him. I won't show him, but I got him. He's gone.